Good morning, Floss Tube. It's Julie with Reflections Framing and Stitching. Today is Monday. Monday. What am I thinking? It's Thursday. Today's Thursday. It's, I think, the 8th of June. And this is Chart of the Week video number 145. Welcome. How are you today? Doing good. I may have to pause this because I am open, but it's been very quiet, so I thought I would go ahead and try and get this recorded. I want to try and do 2 today. We'll see how that works. So, couple of things. I want to apologize to everybody for getting too excited in the last Chart of the Week video and forgetting to say the name of the last fabric. In case you didn't catch my note that I pinned at the top, or in case I missed someone in the comments, it was Sequoia from Atomic Ranch. So, again, my apologies. I totally got so excited and forgot to mention the name, and I am sorry. I will try and do better. I'm going to also try and remember to put the fabric names and counts that I show in the order that I show them in the description portion. So if you go underneath my name, there's the word more, and you can click on that and it'll drop down and you can see other stuff, like the address, the website, the phone number, that sort of thing. So I'm going to try and put that information in there, and hopefully that will help in the future, as long as I have the time to do that and remember to do that. It's mostly the remembering part. Let's be honest. It is mostly the remembering part. So, what else do I need? Do I need to say anything else? Oh, I want to thank everyone for their for your suggestions for questions of the week. It was unanimous. Everybody would like to. I did not have anyone say no. I had a lot of people say. Well, not a lot. I had a couple people say they were fine either way. But for the most part, y'all like the question of the week. So we're going to continue that. And I thank you very much for your suggestions. Because as you found out, it sometimes can be hard to come up with something that you haven't already asked. So it is possible that we may ask a question that's already been asked, but there are new people here who maybe don't want to go back and watch all the old videos or find all the old questions. I can't imagine why they wouldn't want to, but I mean, come on. But just in case they didn't, let's just, pretend we haven't answered it before. Your answer may have changed, so we'll just go ahead and go with it. Because, people can learn from your answers too. So that's how that's going to work. I had a couple of questions to answer from the last Chart of the Week video. So I'm going to answer those before we get into this week's Chart of the Week. So Crafty Condo Stitcher wanted to know if Dan had ever found a ship for his clock. Dan had bought an empty mantle clock, I think is maybe what it's called. It's kind of comes up and has a hump in the middle, and then there's a clock right there in the hump part. Only his did not come with the clock, and so he thought he would want to put a ship, a sailing ship, in that area, but it's not very big, and of course he wants it very detailed. Sometimes we want what we can't have. So he has not found one that he has. I do appreciate all the suggestions that have been suggested. So far he hasn't found one that is what he has in his head that we can make fit. For those of you who watch my regular videos, an example of this is I bought a small chicken feeder. And it's got, I don't know, 8 holes in it, 7 holes in it. I don't know. But those holes are only maybe 1.25 inches round. And I had it in my head that I wanted to stitch the, is it Barnyard Christmas ornaments from Prairie Schooler and put them in those holes. Only I can't get them small enough. Even going over one on like 56 count doesn't get them small enough. So that just isn't going to happen. So sometimes you just get these things in your head and they're not going to work out, and you've got to just cut your losses and move on. So he so far has not cut his losses and moved on. I have. He's still trying to figure out how to make those ornaments work in that chicken feeder. It's, trust me, it's not going to work. So anyway, but keep sending the suggestions. Maybe he'll find something he likes. Let's see. And then Kelly Stitches asked if I was comfortable choosing a new color of floss. She has it's a JBW chart that came out at Market called, I think it's Eliza's Birds. And the cover photo, you can barely see the birds on the fabric that it's shown on. And she was wanting to change the bird color to make it pop more on the fabric. I am sometimes comfortable changing up floss color depending on whether I have it in front of me. Like if you were to send me an email and say, hey, can you change the floss colors on such and such a chart? It's not a chart I have here in the store. I'm probably going to say no. But I do get people that come in and want me to tweak colors for them. And if I can, I will. Sometimes it's easier to just change the fabric color. But what I'm going to do for you, Kelly, is the next chart of the week, I'm going to do Eliza's Birds, because that was one that I really liked. But I agreed the picture, it's really hard to see the birds. So we're going to discuss that one in the next video, which I'm hoping to go ahead and record the main part of the video today. I won't be able to record the responses to the question of the week because I won't have that information yet. But I'm going to hopefully record the main part. So in that video, you may see a different, clothing at the beginning and the end, and that would be why, because I'm going to probably record the beginning and the ending separate from the middle part. Let's see. Anything else? Oh, and I don't know if this was from one of my regular videos, and I know I'm going to forget to respond to it. So Erin, if you're watching, she asked me, I had mentioned pizza buns in that video, and Erin, if you're watching, which I hope you're watching, pizza buns are something that I invented when the kids were little. I probably didn't invent it, to be honest. But we wanted pizza. We didn't have all the ingredients for pizza, so I had some frozen bread dough. So I thaw out a loaf of frozen bread dough, and I pull it into parts. Usually I get 2 or 3 pizza buns out of 1 loaf of bread. Thawed out. I can let it rise a little bit, but it's not really necessary to let it rise. Flatten it. I put pepperoni down the middle of it and a ton of mozzarella cheese, and then fold it over to make kind of a, I know there's a word for it, calzone or something like that. It's kind of the idea. We've always called them pizza buns. My kids love them. Dan loves them. They're totally not good for you. So we don't have them very often anymore. But you bake them at 350 until they're nice and golden and, you know, the cheese starts to ooze out. Because the cheese, no matter what I do, always oozes out. So, but I just take it and flop it up on top of the bread. So it's all good. It's all good. So that is what a pizza bun is. Thank you for asking. Okay, I think that's most of the questions that I had to answer that I saw. If I don't ever answer your question, it's usually because I didn't see it, so please ask it again. Let's see. Anything else? Do I have any shop news I need to take care of? I am going to be gone for the entire length of time for the 4th of July, so I will be gone from the 26th until probably get back in the shop on the 7th. However, Connie is coming into town to house sit for another friend of hers. And she did say she could maybe cover a couple of days while I'm gone. So I've got to get she's out of town right now. So as soon as she comes back into town, I'm going to get with her and figure out what days she could maybe cover. It will be on the calendar on my website just as soon as I get those days figured out. And I will mention it again in a video. I know my next regular video, which will come out not this weekend, but the next weekend. Because I'm going to try and do every other week. So one week you get a regular video showing what I'm stitching on and whatever else I want to talk about. And the next week it'll be a chart of the week video. But I've already recorded that video and I'm saying the same exact thing in that one. So you're going to hear it like 2 videos in a row, probably 4 more. So, because I want to make sure everyone that possibly can knows what the dealio is, so they don't come knocking on the door when I'm out of town and then get upset. Which happens. I had a bad comment left because some lady came to the shop, the old shop, after I closed, had a sign in the door saying I was moving and would be announcing the location soon, but she left me a bad review because she made the trip to the shop and I was moving. So I want to make sure as many people as possible know the deal so that they don't get upset with me, because that just stresses me out. What else do I know? StitchCon starts today. I hope those of you who are going have a good time and stay safe. Say hi to everyone for me. And with that, I think we'll go ahead and get started. So today's chart of the week is from Shakespeare's Peddler. Just recently came out. It is called Painted Flowers. And I just love the colors on it. I love the dark fabric. I thought it might appeal to a lot of people. I know one gal bought it because it has Lily of the Valley, which is her favorite flower, and so she thought, I think that was Nicole, she thought she needed to have it because you very rarely see a Lily of the Valley in a cross stitch. So we're gonna talk about it a little bit. The stitch count is, I should remember to bring my glasses over here. 235 by 80. It is, the called for fabric is 40 count Black Swan by Fox and Rabbit. I don't have that. I have not ever seen it in person. So I'm just going to guess kind of what color it is, and I chose some similar colors to that. The fibers used were mostly DMC, and then she threw in a Weeks Dye Works and a Gentle Arts for 2 of the pictures. Let's see. Is that about all I can tell you about it? I think so. The chart is very nice. She gives you both a black and white and a colored, for those of you who like to stitch on a colored picture. And it's fairly legible, even with my old eyes. I mean, I still would have to wear glasses to read it but I'm not, I can make out some of the symbols just by looking at it with my regular eyeballs. And anytime you can do that, it's fairly legible. Okay, colors. I'm going to show you just all the DMC first, and then I will hold up the two over dyes just so you can kind of see. It's these two here. Let me get a white sheet of paper behind there. So it's these two on the end that she has the over dyes for, and they are quite a bit different. So that is the color palette. Now, my Stitcher Sue would avoid this. She would make me change the greens because she would call those baby poop greens. And she doesn't like to stitch with them. But I think when you get it all in the picture, it looks fine. So Corn Silk from Weeks Dye Works is the substitution for DMC 612. I'm going to move in real close. So this is quite a bit lighter and maybe a touch more green. This is pretty, I mean, it's a green-based tan, but it is not as green as what this, I don't know if it's coming across on the screen or not as green, but this has more green to it than the DMC. And then the other one is DMC, what is that? I can't read it. 315, and the overdyed is Weathered Barn, which as you can see, quite a bit different. This is much darker. This has more of a purple look to it. This is more of like a burgundy look to it. So that would be up to you as to which way you want to go. All right, so to get as close as I possibly could to what I think the called for fabric is, I've got several different options, and they're in no particular order, except for the fact that I'm going to start with well, I was going to, except for I grabbed the wrong one. I do have it in, I believe, 36, which is what it calls for, is 36. But this is a color called Timberwolf. It's kind of a dark blue, almost black color. And this is 40 count. And there's your colors. That's one option. Now let's say you don't stitch on 40 count. That's fine. I have other options. This is 32 count charcoal from Zweigart. The Timberwolf was a seraphim fabric, by the way. So, like I said, this is charcoal. It's a Lugana. It's 32 count. And that would work just fine also. In Aida, I have two different options in Aida, an 18 count Chalkboard black, which looks like this. And I have a 20 count charcoal. So what did I misspeak again? Okay, 40 count. It is called for 40 count, not 36. And then I have a 36 count charcoal gray. That works too. So there should be something for everybody in this mixture. Now the fun thing about this one is that a lot of different base colors will work. You don't have to stick with that, the dark almost black, because I know some of you don't like stitching onto dark color or don't like dark colors period. So I have other options. This is a fun one because it looks good on a lot of different things. The hardest color would be if you wanted it to be neutral, just a neutral, because this disappears on a lot of neutrals. So you would have to be very, very careful. That's the 612. Very, very careful what you would choose for a neutral. And she does show you a picture on the back of what it would look like on a neutral to give you an idea. Which I thought was nice of her to give that. So again, in no particular order, this is 38 count Heron Gray, which is a legacy linen. It is not an overdyed, so it's just gray. But everything would show up well on there. It's light in color, so if you know you have trouble seeing on the darks, this would be a good option for you. This next one is called Anthracite. It's a Zweigart color. For those of you who watch my other videos, I am stitching Teresa Kogut's Land That I Love on this. It's 40 count. Only on that one I have dipped it in walnut crystals. And so it's a little bit different color, but this is what this is what the base color looks like before being dipped. I don't know if I can open that up any wider, or if it even matters if I do, but there, I'll try. How's that? That better? I can't see. There. So I think it would look pretty on that. It's lighter than the grays. So if you still wanted that darker look, this might work for you. Something a little bit more mottled. This is Murtaugh from Hand Dyed by Stephanie. It is a 32 count, and it looks like that. It is not one of my favorites, but I think it would work well. I like Murtaugh as a fabric color. It's pretty, very pretty. This is 32 count Angel Wing from, again, Hand Dyed by Stephanie. It's a very pale blue. And you might wonder about this. I checked for you, and it's all on the inside of things, so it's not going to be an issue. I think the white, you know, these lighter colors here and here, I think they'll still show up fine. It would give a much brighter, sunnier day look than, say, the grays. This is a 40 count Mizzle, which is a seraphim. It's a kind of a periwinkle, but it does have some green splotchiness in it also. And again, you might be wondering about that, but it's all inside, so it's not an issue. I like that one. I think it's pretty. I don't know if I have a favorite. I like the dark. You know, probably not a surprise to any of you. This is 16 count Flagstone. It is a seraphim. I have a lot of seraphim. I like her colors. I'd call this kind of a grayish purple. I think everything would be pretty on there. Okay. This is another dark one. It's Vintage Vogue, and I think it's also Seraphim. I would describe this as a dark greenish gray, depending on the color, the lighting in your room. And it looks like that. Love that color. Love it, love it, love it. If you like green, this is also Seraphim. It's Water Spirit. It is a 40 count. It is kind of a minty, bright spring green, which you're going to want to do. If I had gone with like a yellowy, baby poopy green, these colors wouldn't pop. So you're going to want to do kind of an opposite green. So something more on the, not as baby poop, is what I'm trying to say. And this does have splotches of kind of an orangey, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, orangey brown. There's the colors. It's not showing up real well on here for me. I don't know about for you. But it's, I don't know if you can see, there's kind of the orangey splotchy color. See, on my screen it totally looks different, but it is kind of a brightish green in the more minty family. Okay, this is a color called Memory. It's a 18 count. It's from Picture This Plus. Don't have a lot of it left. It looks like this, so it's kind of a purplish pink. And it looks like that. So see what I mean? These colors would go on a lot of different things. It's just going to be what's your taste. This would not be my taste, but I think it still would look good. This is Morganite from Fiber on a Whim. It's kind of a very pale peachy pink. Did I say it's an 18 count? If I didn't, it's an 18 count. It's a pretty color if you're looking for a pinky. It's not cotton candy because it's got a lot of peach in it. But I think it would be pretty. Okay. Here's a little out of the box, but I kind of really like it. This is 28 count Lugana. It's Haley's Garden. It is from Mystic Fabrics. It's pink and green and beige, or brown, however you want to. And I kind of like it. What do you think? I think it would be pretty. By the time you get the flowers on, it's a busy fabric. I'll show it to you without the colors on it. It's a very busy fabric, but by the time you got all those flowers on it, it's going to tone it down considerably. But look at that. Isn't that pretty? I think I've shown it before, but maybe in my this is what I got from market fabric video. But I think it's really pretty, and I think it would be pretty with that. I think. And then I chose one more neutral just to show you, but I chose it carefully. This has got neutral in it, but it also has leans towards the pink side, and it's got a little hints of kind of green in it. It is a Mystic Fabrics. No, it is a Bestitch Me, and it's called Antique Market. So let me get this on here. And this will show up on it, and you need it to show up because it is sometimes not surrounded by another color. So if you want to have a more neutral background, that would be the color I would pick. And that is all I have, which is quite a bit. I had fun playing with it today. I just kept pulling different colors out and going, oh yeah, I like how this looks, and I like how that looks. And so the trick here is going to be to avoid a color that this isn't going to work with. And, you know, you'll be fine. Darker colors are probably going to look a little bit better than the lighter colors, but I think I had some that would work just fine too. So I think there's something for everybody in that stack of stuff. And I hope you enjoyed it. It just recently came out. So okay. Question of the week comes from Yvonne. She wanted to know, how do you store or organize your threads? And do you store the different types of threads? You know, silk threads, DMC threads, overdyed threads. Do you store them in different ways? Do you bobbinate some? Do you bag some? Do you hang some on hangers? You know, how do you store your different threads? Which is a good question. For me, most of my threads, except for my DMC, most of my threads are already in projects because I kit most of my projects up when I buy them. And I just put everything together. And so they're stored in the plastic bag with the chart and the fabric so that everything is together. Should I get a wild hair to start something, I can just grab it and go. Now, I know not everyone does that. My DMC is stored in we bought a bunch of the little nuts and bolts containers, and Dan hung them. Well, he built a square box, and then we just stacked them in this square box, and it's hanging on the wall in my crap room. So I have all the colors. I don't have all the new colors. We're going to have to expand it to put all the new colors. Either put some on top or off. And then I can't go to the side. The electrical panel is there. We'll probably have to expand up in order to get the rest of them on the wall. And then the threads that I'm done with for the few projects that I have finished, I have a spinner with hooks on it, and they're just hanging on those hooks. There's a side for Gentle Arts, there's a side for Classic Colorworks, there's a side for Weeks Dye Works, and then there's a side for like silks of different kinds. So for stitching purposes, I use floss away bags for my organization. I don't like to bobbinate. It puts crimps in my... I used to bobbinate back in the day, way back in the day. I used to bobbinate. But now I'd rather spend that time stitching rather than bobbinating. It leaves crimps in my floss that I don't want to have to deal with. So I gave that method up a long time ago. I know a lot of you put them on the floss cards. I'm a little too lazy for that. I just prefer to open up the Ziploc bag and be able to shove it in the bag and call it good. When I'm, after I've finished using a length of thread, I don't like to have to try and get it through the hole and hang it on the tag. I just put it in the bag. It's quick, it's easy, it's on a ring. I do put a floss tag on the ring of floss that has either the picture of the project it goes to, or it's handwritten, the project name, because I have had floss that has gotten separated from the project, and then you don't know what it is, what it's for. So I always label that, and that's as far as my organization goes. Like I said, most of it is already in what it's going to be used for. So that's how I do it. Let's hear from you. I'm very interested in hearing your responses, and mine are, I do not separate them out and store the silks any differently. They just go in the Ziploc, the floss away bag or the floss pack bag, and off we go. So anyway, I think that's it. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that chart and the different fabric options. Which one was your favorite? I'm not sure I had a favorite. There were so many the dark gray, black. I like that a lot. I did like that Haley's Garden. And I like the Mizzle quite a bit. So let me know what your favorite was. Please answer the question of the week, or leave a different comment. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. All of that helps me be seen by people who maybe haven't watched before. And do I have any plans for the weekend? Not really. I don't think I do. Abby mentioned something about coming into town on Sunday. We have stitching here at the shop on Saturday. That's about it. We're trying to get together a class of youngsters. And by youngsters, I mean like 12 to 15-year-olds. I ran into a young gal. I'm going to guess she was probably in the 13 or 14-year-old, maybe 12, age group at Joann's the other day, and she was choosing floss colors for an embroidery project. Apparently, at her school, they teach embroidery, among other things, I think. But she really liked the embroidery, and it just made my heart happy to see someone, a youngster like that was really interested in any kind of handwork. So I chatted with her and her mother, told them a little bit about the store, and if she ever wanted to learn to do counted cross stitch, that we were trying to put together a class. We'll see how that goes. And what else do I know? That's about it. I really want to go antiquing. Haven't been for quite a while, and I really want to go. But if Abby's coming into town on Sunday, that won't happen. So anyway, I'm going to let you go so I can record this other one, and I will see you. The next video, like I said, will come out next weekend. This one's going to come out this weekend, so the weekend of the 10th. And then a regular video will be the next weekend, and so then this one I'm going to record now will be the weekend after that. So we'll see how that works for me. You have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. I hope you get some stitching time in. And I will see you next time. Take care until then. Bye-bye. I can't get it to shut off. It will not shut off. Stop taking video.